Hey Cindy,
Hello.
how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Crazy to think that summer's almost over though.
Summer's almost over.
Yeah,
Really?
I have like about a month from today until school starts again. It's just weird to think about. I saw it on the calendar today. I'm like, oh, it's too soon.
It's too soon. No, we need
Yeah.
more vacation.
Hmm. What about you? What are you doing once school starts?
I mean, I go back to United States at like April 12th. No, not
Mm.
April, August 12th.
Oh,
But my
okay.
school starts at August 12th. So I don't know. I think like as soon as I can come back, I need to go to school right away. Like maybe August 13th or something.
Hmm. Yeah, that's gotta be tough. I imagine you're very tired from, the time
Mm.
change and all the
Yeah,
flying.
like the jet lag and all those stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
Dang, that's crazy. I could not do that. Yeah.
oh no, I don't want to think about that. It's so
Don't
tough.
think. Yeah. I guess try to avoid it then. Get it out of your mind if you can. But hey, I'll be here until August 22nd. So if you want to meet in person, maybe we could get coffee or something if you're in the Houston area. So,
Wait, where are you going? Oh, to school?
yeah. Yeah. I'm living at home right now while I work online. And then once August 22nd rolls around, I'm moving back into my apartment at school. So,
No.
uh, yeah, I mean, I'll still be around on Zoom, just not in Houston. So it's not too it's not too far away. It's like 2 hours, which is honestly the perfect amount of distance because if I want to go home, I can. But also, my parents do not want to see me every weekend, and so if I want to take a little bit of a break from them or have some space, I can.
Oh,
Okay, well, I will stop distracting you, and we can get started with some SAT stuff.
oh, I have a
Good.
question for the
Sure.
SAT stuff.
Mhm.
It's I was looking at this book again, and then this part. No, let me type.
Okay.
Like the difference between the elephant's trunks and trunk.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, let me pull up the whiteboard real quick. Yeah, that's a good question to ask. So, this punctuation right here is an apostrophe.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness, I can't spell. Apostrophe. And it shows possession or belonging. So, for example, Abby's dog is white. So, the dog that belongs to Abby is white. Okay? And I am one person. I am singular. So it's Abby apostrophe S. Let's say that we have something that is not singular. The students. Okay, so students is plural. And let's say the students have a class pet. The students' class pet is a turtle. So since students is plural, we put the apostrophe after the S instead of before it. That way, when the
Oh,
reader reads this, they know that, okay, we're talking about many students, not just one. And so where the apostrophe is tells you if the word is singular or if it's plural.
Thank you. I didn't know that.
Yeah, no problem. There's one other thing that goes with this. Let's say your name is, I'm trying to think of a name here. If your name ends in S, let me Google it. Names that end in S. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but there's got to be some. Oh, Alexis. Alexis. That's a pretty common name. I shouldn't. Yeah, I have a friend named Alexis. I should have gotten that one. Alexis cat is orange. Okay, so Alexis is singular, but it ends in an S. And so because it ends in an S, we still put our apostrophe here. So Alexis's cat is orange. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, and let me put a link in the chat. These are just some apostrophe rules. Let's see. I'm trying to find the link. There's a really good website for this if I can find it. I don't think Grammarly. Okay, maybe this one's okay. Here it is. Let me stick this in the chat. This is the website I was looking for. Now, this is a pretty good link. It has some more example sentences with how to use an apostrophe.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, let me copy this link into a Word document. And then, I guess before we get started, was there anything else that you wanted to know? Any other questions that came up?
It's math again. Can I ask you that question again?
Yeah, sure.
Oh. I think we did this together, but I still don't get it. The number 8, can you read it?
Yeah, I just took a snip. I don't think we did this one, but we can do it.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Let me, oh no, where'd my whiteboard go? Okay, let me share my screen with you again. I'll go back to our whiteboard. Yeah, I have just random stuff in my whiteboards. Let's see, I took a snip. Oh, perfect, nice.
Oh.
Getting very fancy today with all the technology. Okay. So a hot air balloon rises from the ground at a constant rate for 5 minutes until it reaches its final height of 2,000 feet above the ground. How high in feet above the ground was the hot air balloon when it had been rising for exactly 3 minutes? And so what I like to do is I like to draw a graph. So we know that we have some amount of time that increases. And as time increases, height will increase, right? Height is measured in feet and time is measured in minutes. Okay, so what height does the hot air balloon start at?
2,000 feet.
Okay, so this is what it ends at. So this is the final height. But what does it start at? Give you a hint. It'll involve some careful reading.
From the ground.
From the ground, yep.
0.
Yeah, so at time 0, our height is 0. And then it rises at a constant rate. And so we have a straight line basically until we get to the final point. Okay, and then what is the final point? How many minutes and how many feet?
Mm, 5 minutes and 2,000 feet.
Okay, very good. So there's 2 ways that we can do this. And I'll show you both ways, and you can let me know which one you like the best. But first, before I get to that, let me just draw this in. And so we want to know where the hot air balloon is at 3 minutes, like that. Okay, so if we have a constant rate that starts at 0 and then goes to some number, we can do what's called a proportion. That's one option. Okay, so we know that at 5 minutes we are at 2,000 feet. So at 3 minutes, how many feet are we at? The important thing here is that our units line up with feet. Okay, and so we multiply across. So 2,000 times 3 is 6,000, right? And then we divide by 5. So 6,000 divided by 5 is 1,200. So we know that our height is 1,200 feet. So that's one way to get our answers to do proportion. The other way, and this is the same math, just a different way of writing it, is if we look at our graph, we know that this is y equals mx plus b, right? It's a straight line. All straight lines have this formula of y equals mx plus b. So b is our y-intercept. So if we look at our y-axis, it intercepts at 0. So we can basically cancel this guy out. He's just 0. So y equals mx. So to get the slope, we do change in y. So 2,000 minus 0 over change in x. So 5 minus 0. So y equals, let's see, 2,000 divided by 5 is 400, right? So y equals 400x. And the one that we want to know is when x is 3. So y equals 400 times 3. So y equals 1,200 feet. So no matter which way we do it, if we do it with the proportion or if we do it by writing an equation for the line, we get the same answer. And that is answer choice D. So 1,200 feet.
The second one looks so complicated.
Yeah, you don't have to do it that way. Whatever's easiest should work fine. Just remember, we can only do proportions when it goes through 0, 0.
Okay.
The one where the second way that I solve the problem will work for any type of line, but the proportion only works when it goes through 0, 0. Oh my goodness, I zoomed way too fast. Will work for any line. Okay, any questions about this one? Does that make sense? Okay, cool. Yeah, and honestly, whatever way you want to solve it works fine. With a lot of these SAT problems, you can do it at least 2 ways. My personal recommendation is just do whatever's easiest for you. Don't worry about whatever is the right way or the wrong way.
Oh.
I mean, sometimes even guess and check works, right? You know, you could
Guessing.
yeah, you could just draw a picture and see which one looks right. So, for example, if I were to do guess and check for this problem, I know that half of 5 minutes is 2.5 minutes, right?
Mhm.
And half of 2,000 is 1,000. And so I need to choose an answer that's a little bit bigger than 1,000, right? Because 3 is bigger than 2.5. And so D is the only
Yeah.
one that's bigger than 1,000. And so you can even do a guess and check, you know. A lot of times that works 100% okay. And then you don't even have to do any math. Or I guess you do some math in your head, but you don't have to do the whole writing out process. So,
Oh. Thank you.
yeah, no problem. Okay, anything else?
Nope, not really.
Okay. Sounds good. Uh, let's see. Oh, there's my screen. Perfect. Okay. Did you get a chance to do this oh, which one was it? Did you get a chance to do this reading passage that I sent you through Linda?
44. Is that the question? 44. Oh, it's the new one, right?
Yeah, it's a new one. I think we finished 44 last class.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, but you haven't seen this before?
No.
Okay. Then what we'll do is we will read together. Or actually, I'll have you just read it to yourself out loud or in your head, whichever is better. And then once you get to the end of a paragraph, we'll do a summary together. And then if you see any words that you don't know, you can take a break and then ask me for the meaning.
I think I read this, but like I was like, oh, I don't know what the meaning. I just yeah.
Okay. Do you want to read one more time then and ask me the meaning of the words, or do you want to try the questions first just to see how it goes?
I'm gonna ask you the meaning.
Okay, that works.
The I don't even know how to read this. Draw finger. The like the sentence. Wait. Yeah, that one.
Strap hanger.
Straw is red, right? Straw finger.
Yeah, so this is like a slang term. Strap hanger. Yeah. And they give you the definition of it. So this is somebody who either because they choose to or because they have to rely on public transportation rather than their own car. The reason why they call it a strap hanger, have you ever rode on the bus and you have to like hold to the strap on the ceiling or whatever? That's where
Oh,
that's where strap hanger comes from. You quite literally have to like hold on to the strap in the bus.
I get it.
Yep. I guess subway has this too. Yeah, the bus, the subway. Trying to think what else has straps. I don't know. I've never been on a ferry, so I could not tell you if a ferry has straps or not. I've been on a streetcar though. Those definitely do.
Do Texas has like public transportation? Because I've never seen that.
We do, but it's terrible. We have the metro downtown, which is like a little streetcar that runs on tracks. We also do have a bus too. The buses are always late and they do not take you to where you need to be a lot of the time.
What?
Yeah. Well, just because Houston is so spread out, you know, there's no zoning laws here, and so you can build what type of building wherever you want. And so because of that, the city grew very, very quickly. You know, a lot of times if you go to another city, it'll have like a business center, and then there will be houses outside of it, and then there will be farm outside of that. Well, Houston, there's no laws about what has to go where. You can build anything wherever you want, pretty much. And so because of that, in like the 1970s, 1980s, the city grew very, very quickly. And so, you know, your bus might drop you off 15 minutes or 20 minutes from where you need to be. Or you might have to drive your car to get to the bus station or to get to a park and ride and then take the bus from there. So, but you do have public transportation. It's just kind of awful, in my opinion.
This sounds like it's awful.
Um, you might find this cool. There's been a lot of talk on the news recently about plans to build a high-speed train between Houston and Dallas. So far, they haven't built anything yet because they don't own all the land that they need to. But the idea is that we'll have that high-speed train pretty soon, hopefully, to connect Houston and Dallas, which would be very, very nice because that's like a 4-hour car trip. So
Yeah, that would be cool. Interesting. Okay.
yeah, I'm excited.
Mhm. So there are like 600 million cars on the planet, but like more people are using public transportation and some stuff like rather than they own their car. Am I saying right? Like
Oh, yeah, I get where you're coming from. So there are 7 billion people.
mhm.
Out of that 7 billion, there are only 600 million cars.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I guess basically
yeah.
what it's trying to say is very few people have cars when you think about it.
Yeah. That was what I was thinking.
Okay, cool. You got it then. Terrible handwriting. I have like boy handwriting.
I have boy handwriting, like young boy handwriting, like huge, huge handwriting.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and my warning light just turned on my laptop, so I'm gonna run down and get my charger real quick. Sadly, with this headset, I cannot hear you when I leave, but I will be right back. It's like 1 minute walk down the stairs. Okay,
Okay.
sorry about that.
Oh, no problem.
Okay, I'm back. Any words came up?
Anomaly, the last word on the second paragraph. Anomaly.
Okay. So, an anomaly is something that is unexpected, or maybe even unexplained. And so a lot of times we hear the phrase scientific anomaly. So a scientific anomaly is something that is not explained by science. So it's kind of like a mystery. Okay. So let's take a break right here and let's summarize. So how would you summarize what you've read so far from line 1 to line 19?
Oh, line 1 to line 19. So like there are like 7 billion people, but only 600 million cars. Like small amount uses their own cars. And like half of the population on like huge cities, they don't really own cars and they use public transportations and stuff.
Perfect. Yep. Good job. Yeah, basically it's talking about how big the population is and how few people use cars. Let's see. Taking a quick snip and then I'll scroll down. Okay. So let's see. Next line 20. And let's stop right here. Line 34.
Squalid. Am I reading right?
So something squalid is something that is very poor or dirty. So if someone lives in squalid conditions, they live in very poor conditions. So think of somewhere like dirty that you just would not want to be. Which just holds up pretty well in the United States. You know, there's a little bit of a stereotype that, at least in Houston or places where public transportation is not that common, that you only ride the bus if you have no other option because it is just that bad.
I've never seen a bus in Houston, so I was like, I thought there were no transportation.
Yeah, there are very few, but I will say they are not the nicest. Part of this too is not just in Houston, but in cities all across the U.S. A lot of times, homeless people will sleep on public transportation, like buses or in the subway, and so that kind of adds to this idea that public transportation is for the poor, and you really want to avoid it if you can.
Decrepit. Decrepit.
Oh, decrepit.
Decrepit.
So decrepit, this is a really rude way to say old. So, AKA someone who rides the buses may be too old to drive. Maybe they're I guess there's a number of reasons why old people can't drive. Maybe they're not as smart as they used to be. or they lack the hand-eye coordination or something like that. But decrepit is a very, very rude way to say old.
Very, very rude way.
Yeah, so never call an old person decrepit. They will not be happy with you.
Okay. Lurching, lurching, overcrowded, lurching.
Okay. So when something lurches, it starts and stops. So, for example, if you've ever been on the bus, you know that it's not always a smooth drive. Sometimes it's like you bang back in your seat like
Yeah,
this. So that's a lurch when you kind of like bang back in your seat when the bus stops.
got it. Mm, Wristle, wristle,
Oh, wrestled.
wrestled. Oh, I know that word. It's okay. I thought it was something else.
Yeah. No, kind of weird spelling on that one.
Continent.
Okay. So when it says on this continent, it's talking about North America. Which North America includes Canada. Oh, I misspelled Canada. Oh no. Canada, the US, and Mexico. To contrast, the continent of Europe includes Spain, France, Germany, the Czech Republic, Croatia, Norway, Sweden, Finland, all those countries. So North America is a very large continent, but there's only 3 countries that make it up. Oh, and this is a good thing to know. Maybe not for the SAT, but just in general. So these 3 countries put together make up NAFTA. NAFTA stands for the North America Free Trade Agreement. So just like how the European Union does business together, North America does business together. So Canada, US, and Mexico, we're all trading buddies. I will say that has changed a little bit over time. The borders between the US and Mexico used to be pretty open. For example, there's one city in Texas, El Paso, and it is right next to a Mexican city, Juarez. And before it used to be that you could just like walk across the border and go shopping in Juarez or go to a restaurant there or something like that. That is not the case anymore. Now there's very strict border control and you have to show your passport and all sorts of stuff to get across. But way back when, it used to be relatively easy to move around in North America from one country to another.
That's so interesting. That sounds so fun. Like I'm
Yeah.
going to other country
Yeah,
without a passport.
Yeah, my stepmom actually used to live in El Paso, and her family would literally once a week they would walk into Mexico to go get dinner at a Mexican restaurant there. You can't do it anymore, which is too bad, but that it used to be something that if you lived there, everyone did it. It's like the weekend trip.
Walk to other country. That's so interesting. Okay. Oh, underfunded. Underfunded.
Okay, so if something is underfunded, it does not have enough money.
Maintained. I thought it was little maintained, like Wang, little, but it was
Oh,
ill.
yeah. So ill. So it has two meanings. So the first meaning, like it's used here, means poor. So if something is ill maintained, it is poorly maintained. So it's not good, it's bad. The other definition for ill is sick. So if I'm feeling ill, I'm feeling sick. I might have a cough or a cold. And so here they're using the first definition. So something ill maintained is something that is just poorly maintained. It's not being taken care of. Things might be broken or dirty or just super old and outdated. Um, and so it's using the first definition here.
I think this is talking about the thing like that we talked about, the thing that using car, like own car, it's like privilege. I don't know, like
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's basically talking about how people view public transportation as for poor people basically and how it's not nice. Even though most of the world uses public transportation. I will say this is one thing that I've read recently that was pretty interesting. So, in the US it's pretty hard to like walk around and be able to get places, right? The exception to that is when you're in college. In college, it's super easy to walk somewhere and, hang out with your friends or go to a restaurant or, I don't know, watch a movie, see a show, something like that. And so, a lot of people, for them, college is the best time of their lives. And so, the theory is the reason why people enjoy college so much is it is the first and sadly maybe one of the only times that they'll live in an area that's actually walkable and they can walk from school to work to entertainment to the grocery store to their friends to do something social. And so that's another thing too, kind of related to this passage.
like it's all inside the college, like places, or it's near the college.
Mm-hmm.
Near the
Yeah.
college.
Yeah. For a lot of people, college is like the most walking that they'll ever do, and that's the best public transportation will ever be. And then once they graduate, they'll move somewhere else where it's literally impossible to walk from home to work, and there's no good public transportation. And so the theory is that's the reason why people enjoy college so much is because it's easy to walk and the public transportation is good. And then once you graduate, it kind of goes away. Okay. Anyways, next paragraph. Sorry, I have a lot of opinions on this subject. Just stop me if I start talking too much.
No, I love talking. Levitation, magnetic levitation.
Okay, so Magnetic levitation means it floats on a magnet. So this is our magnet right here. It pushes stuff up, right? It repels it. And so a magnetic levitation train pushes a train up, and the magnets are what causes it to move forwards. So magnetic levitation train. And so there's no tracks. It just floats over some magnetic surface. It doesn't even touch the ground. It just floats above it. And this is apparently the type of train that we're supposed to get from Houston to Dallas.
Oh.
We'll see. I don't quite believe it yet. It sounds a little too good to be true, but maybe.
Maybe.
If they were to build this, the trip would go from 4 hours to 1 hour.
1 hour?
Yeah.
That's cool. Like, that's the greatest public transportation I've ever seen in Houston, but this will be.
Yeah. I mean, you could go to Dallas for dinner and then come back or something. It'd be cool if they actually build it.
Skim over.
Okay, so if something skims, it barely touches. I will say this word also has a second definition, and that is if you have ever heard the phrase skim milk. Have you heard that? Okay,
No.
so if something is like skim milk, it has no fat. And the reason why is like, let's say that this is my glass of milk right here. This is the milk. And then there's like this layer of fat on top, like if you let it separate out. And so if you skim the milk, you barely touch the top of it to like push all that fat off. So skim milk with no fat, comes from the fact that in the factory they just scrape the surface, they barely touch it, and then they push all this fat off.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So skim milk is like no fat milk. The same
Yeah.
meaning.
Yeah, sometimes they'll call it fat-free instead.
Skim milk. Oh, it sounds fancy. I should use this word to say, go get some skim milk.
Yeah, it kind of tastes like water to me. I like the 1%.
It tastes like water?
Yeah,
No way.
I think so. My mom, she's a dietitian, nutritionist, and so she studies all this stuff about how to eat and teaches people how to eat right. And so she says, do not drink skim milk because
Why?
it has like no good nutrients for you. And so it's very like low calorie, but also it has nothing good either. It has nothing good, nothing bad. And so if you're going to drink milk, to drink the 1% instead. That's like the best for your health. Or you can drink plant milks like soy milk. They make milk from peas actually too now. Almond milk, oat milk. Maybe not oat milk. Oat milk doesn't have a lot of protein in it, but some of the plant milks are also pretty good for you.
Milk.
Yeah.
I used to like follow some like Victoria's Secret diet tutorial. Like they always like, oh, drink what milk was it? Like I forgot the name. It was like a plant milk, but not soy milk. What milk was it?
Almond or milk? Or
Yes,
sorry, oat?
almond milk.
Almond
Almond
milk.
milk.
Yeah. Yeah, I like almond milk. It's good. It's terrible for the environment, really bad, but it tastes
Really?
good. Yeah. Almonds, they take a lot of water and a lot of energy to grow.
I
More than
didn't
you
know.
would think. Yeah.
Oh, almond milk is good, but like no unsweetened almond milk. Oh, it tastes like it tastes no good. Like, oh no, it's a nightmare.
Yeah. Don't try pea milk. That you can definitely taste the peas in it. It's not good.
No. I wanna taste it actually, because I wanna feel the horribleness.
Okay, taste it maybe once, but don't buy it a second time. Maybe that's the recommendation here.
Okay.
Sorry, I got you way off topic. My bad.
Oh, whisking people with whisking. Well, I know whiskey, but like not whisking. Or
So whisking, like the word whisk, it means to move quickly. So for example, there's a special type of cooking utensil called a whisk.
oh, I know
The,
that.
the reason why we call it a whisk is because when you stir it, you have to go really fast to get it to work. And so when you whisk something, you move it quickly. Oh, sorry, I'm on the wrong page. Here we go.
Provincial.
Okay.
Mm,
So this comes from the word province. Have you ever heard of a province before?
yes.
Okay. Yeah, so it's just like some small area. So actually in Texas we don't have provinces, we have counties instead, but some places will actually organize the land into provinces, which I guess France does that. They have provinces. I've never been to France, so I could not tell you what a province is like.
And so this paragraph is talking about the magnetic levitation train.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, more than that, it's talking about all the different ways that public transportation is done very well in other countries. So it was talking about how public transportation is very bad in North America, but in Europe, in Asia, so Shanghai, and France, oh, and I guess Spain and Sweden, we have this very good public transportation. So we could have good public transportation in the US and Canada and Mexico. It's just that we don't. We have cars instead. Okay, ready to scroll to the next part?
Mhm.
Okay, let's clear the screen.
Like, is Latin America like South America?
Kind of. So Latin America is different from South America. Let me show you on a map. So Latin America includes, let's see if we can find a picture. So it includes, maybe this is the best picture. So Latin America includes South America right here, but then it also includes these countries right here, Central America. So Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, Nicaragua, Cuba. Technically, Mexico is North America, but this one they drew it in with Latin America. So I think Mexico is technically part of both North America and Latin America. The reason why is Latin America refers to basically most Spanish-speaking countries and Brazil, because in Brazil they speak Portuguese instead of Spanish. So, Mexico, even though it's part of North America, Spanish is also the most widely spoken language there, same as like Peru or Colombia or Argentina or any other of these like South American, Latin American countries. Oh, here we go.
Mirrored and the last word. Mirrored.
Okay, so this word is not pronounced like how you would think. So this is actually mired. Mired. And so if you're like mired in something, you are stuck in it. So it's saying that the sedans and the SUVs, so basically the 5 people and the 7 people cars are just, of the rich people, are just stuck in traffic. Why the buses move pretty fast in these countries, at least.
I think like in Latin America, China and India, they like use public transportation.
Yep, pretty much. Oh, whoops. Sorry, I did not mean to scroll. Need to take a picture before I scroll down. Okay. Now we're good. I think we have time. Oh, this is kind of a long paragraph. So what I'll do is I'll read this one out loud and stop me if you want the definition to any of the words, and then I'll summarize it at the end. That way we can just get through this before class ends. So if you credit the demographers, this transit trend has legs. The millennials, who reached adulthood around the turn of the century and now outnumber baby boomers, tend to favor cities over suburbs and are far more willing than their parents to ride buses and subways. Part of the reason is their ease with iPads, MP3 players, Kindles, and smartphones. You can get some serious texting done when you're not driving, and earbuds offer effective insulation from all but the most extreme commuting annoyances. Even though there are more teenagers in the country than ever, only 10 million have a driver's license versus 12 million a generation ago. Baby boomers may have been raised in a leave it to beaver suburbs, but as they retire, a significant contingent is favoring older cities and compact towns where they have the option of walking and riding bikes. Seniors, too, are more likely to use transit, and by 2025, there will be 64 million Americans over the age of 65. Already, dwellings in older neighborhoods in Washington, D.C., Atlanta, and Denver, especially those near light rail or subway stations, are commanding enormous price premiums over suburban homes. The experience of European and Asian cities shows that if you make buses, subways, and trains convenient, comfortable, fast, and safe, a surprisingly large percentage of citizens will opt to ride rather than drive. And so, what this is basically saying is that public transportation is getting more popular in the US. And the reason why is because of two groups. So, millennials, who are around the age of 30 right now, and baby boomers, who are the older people who are retired, usually 65 or older. And the reason why, according to this article, is because the millennials have technology, and so they like to be able to use technology while they travel. And so they can do that on a subway or a bus. And the reason why baby boomers like public transportation is because they like to walk around and ride bikes and live in cities. Um, and so that's pretty much what it's saying. To be honest, I don't know. Personally, I do not agree with this. I think the reason why millennials do not drive is because they're not as rich as their parents used to be. And so it's much harder to afford a car than it used to be in the past. And now it's also harder to find a good paying job in in some places. And so a lot of millennials live in the city. And it's just there's not enough space for cars in the city anymore. And so this article says the reason why is because millennials enjoy technology. I don't think that's true, but that's what the SAT thinks, so we'll go with them.
SAT things.
Yeah.
I have a question
Sure.
for the word demographers.
Ah, okay, so demographics.
Oh, demographic. It was demographic.
So
Oh,
demographers is right, but it comes from the study of demographics. So demographics is the study of people and populations. So the demographics of a place is the population of a place. So demographers or demographers, I think you can pronounce it both ways. These are people who study people and who study populations.
okay. Suburb. Suburb.
Suburbs. So suburbs, these are the areas outside cities, like Katy. So Katy is a suburb.
I live in Katy.
Mhm. Yeah, Katy is like a classic suburb. It doesn't get more suburban than Katy.
And opt. OPT. Like the
Um,
last.
So if you
Yeah.
opt to do something, you choose to do something. So they choose to ride rather than drive. Yeah, overall, pretty interesting. There are some graphs that go with this one too. But next class we will start answering the questions and then we can look at the graphs then. Okay, anything else you can think of before I head out? Anything that you were curious about or wanted to know? Yeah, we'll look at that next.
Not really.
Okay. Yeah, if anything comes up, just, I don't know, write it down, shoot me an email, and we'll get to it next class, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Well, that's it from me. I'm going to go eat dinner. But I hope you have a good rest of your day. Don't work too hard.
Thank
Enjoy the summer.
Okay.
Okay. Bye, Cindy.
Bye.